Maxwell Frost will win the Democratic primary in Florida 10, putting him in position to win the general election in this solidly blue district in November. House nominee Max Frost joins us now. We really appreciate your joining us. Thank you so much, Max. So this is just extraordinary. You're 25 years old. If you win in November, you will be the youngest member in Congress. Before we get to the politics of this situation, just take a moment to reflect on what this win means for you. You're 25. You still drive an Uber. You quit your job to be able to run. What are you feeling right now in this moment?
I'm feeling incredibly blessed. And, you know, we have a room full of supporters just across the hallway here who have been knocking doors, making phone calls, and have been making their voices heard. And I think this win shows the country, don't count us out. Don't count out young people. You know, I'm the former national organizing director for March for Our Lives, a movement that helped change the way we think about gun violence, the way we think about advocacy. And I'm going to take what I learned at March for Our Lives, take what I learned at the ACLU, bring it to Congress, but also keep it here in Florida as we build power to ensure that we can flip this state, that we can bring people together behind shared values, and that, yes, there's a young face that is doing that work, but that's okay. We need a diversity of, yes, race, yes, opinion, but also age.
You know, it's interesting. One of my producers pointed out that with the oldest likely member of Congress next cycle that will be serving with you will be 86, you're 25, a 61-year difference between the oldest and youngest in the Democratic caucus. But it actually gets me to a larger question, right? The Democratic Party leadership has been of one generation for a long time. And it's almost as if folks, whether, forget just Gen Z, the generation you're of, whether it's millennial, whether it's, you felt that you had to almost break down the door to be let in. You just broke down the door pretty quickly. What do you think your secret was that other generations struggled with?
You know, I think it's our message and the way that we approach this campaign, just telling people what they deserve, what our vision of the future is, and keeping it in a very positive light. Look, we have to think about the context of this win. We are in Florida, where this entire year, our state has been the victim of Governor DeSantis. He is a dictator, someone who has been scapegoating the most vulnerable communities for every issue under the sun because he wants to run for president. And there's been a lot of hopelessness around the state over the past year. But when people hear this message, one that says you deserve health care, one that says we need to fight to ensure that we prevent the climate crisis, one that says you deserve these things by virtue of being human, it doesn't matter if you're Democrat or Republican, it's about people versus the problem. And that's the way we're going to move forward here in Florida. It can't just be about parties. It has to be about the people versus the problem. And that's how we were able to build the coalition that we needed to win this campaign. It's how we're going to build the coalition we need to win in November in my general. And it's how we're going to build the coalition necessary to flip this state.
And if you do go to Congress, what will your top issue be? What's the first thing you want to tackle?
Well, obviously, there's so many issues we need to tackle, from ensuring people have health care to ensuring we're doing everything we can to prevent the climate crisis, bring down costs, raise wages. But gun violence is what got me involved in this work 10 years ago. It was the Sandy Hook shooting. 3 years after that, I'd become a survivor of gun violence myself here in Orlando. And 3 months before that, the Pulse nightclub shooting would happen. The leading cause of death for children is guns, not automobiles anymore. So our children are literally on the front lines of this issue, and we lose 100 people a day. So I look forward to being a strong advocate and champion to ensuring we live in a country where we don't have to fear going to church, going to school because of gun violence. We deserve the freedom to live without the fear of that violence. And I'm looking forward to being a champion on that issue in Congress.
You put Governor DeSantis in some way as the center of what helped motivate you and some of your supporters. What any advice to Congressman Crist as he takes on Ron DeSantis? Anything you're concerned that maybe he won't take on or won't focus on? What is your advice to him?
Well, I've had the privilege of meeting Congressman Crist on multiple occasions, and I look forward to working with him tooth and nail over the next few months to ensure that we beat Governor Ron DeSantis. And what this is bigger than just Florida, too. We have to think about the country. Governor DeSantis has his eyes set on the White House. This is one of the most important elections is going to be in November and defeating him. And I look forward to working with Congressman Crist in doing that and spreading this message, the Democratic message that no matter who you are, you deserve health care. You deserve the ability to live your life, and look forward to working with the congressman on that.
Just finally, I want to ask you what I just asked Nikki Fried. Do you want to see President Biden campaigning with Charlie Crist, with you heading into November? Do you think he'd be an asset?
I do. And what that shows is national attention on not just the race, but our state. Like I said before, people have been forgetting about Florida. They cast us aside. They're saying, oh, it's a DeSantis state, and they throw their hands in the air. But what we showed tonight in this race, where a 25-year-old Afro-Latino organizer got elected to be the major party nominee, and we're going to win this general in November, is don't count anybody out. We can't count out Florida, and with the president coming here, it's going to help show how much of a priority it is for the country.
Max Frost, obviously you don't count anything before it actually happens. You're the heavy favorite in November, but we look forward to watching your race. And if you're in Washington, we'll see you there.
Thank you so much.
Congrats on tonight.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.